Good morning and welcome to episode 12 of The Resurgence. It's always morning.
Is it 12?
Yes, it is. Well, technically it's morning in Las Vegas kind of still. So.
It is. Is it 12 episodes though?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Ooh. I was told by our Facebook followers that they want more engagement. The reason why, as you're sending me messages on here, I can't read all the messages, and we're doing interviews with guests, and I'm reading questions that come through the email. So that's why we want you guys to email the show, or you could also call in 313-312-0398.
Or go to the Resurgence at yahoo.com. Please.
Tell them on that camera too, bro.
The Resurgence at yahoo.com. We tell you every episode, and yet this still happens. Don't text his phone.
Don't text the phone. Do not do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Shout out to, we got a couple of announcements we need to make. Shout out to Randy Holloway on the last episode. That was great, man. Shout out to our brother Kane in Cleveland, who has a new album coming out. King Chosen. King Chosen has a new album coming out on Mo Thug Records. That's our brother and our crew member. Shout out to him. Shout out to the entire Bone Thugs and Harmony family. Also, shout out to my homegirl Sincere. She is dropping new music. Sincere is dropping new music. And she told me yesterday she's coming on the Resurgence.
Let's go.
That's going to be a time. All right. So just know that. Also, shout out to the Outlaw crew, Graceland crew, and also shout out to Wilberforce University, and a special shout out to Wilberforce University's own Mighty Mighty Z chapter. For our charter day, we've celebrated 112 years. Ooh, and that's just our chapter. So this old school. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing over here. We're using new equipment. How's my vocals? Can I sing in my mind? No, okay. Until I hear that song, no one's getting any Christmas gifts. I've not heard in my mind, no one's getting Christmas gifts. What you got for us?
All right. So, going off of that, we have you heard the brand new Snoop Dogg album, Missionary?
Listen.
So, let me just go ahead and say this first. This album is Doggy Style 2025.
That's a great way to say that, bro, because it is.
Lyrical ability, just off the charts. Production, just amazing. Actually, if you want a double punch, listen to Marsha Ambrosia's Casablanca that released last summer, and then follow it up with Missionary. You see that they on a whole other thing here. I mean, have you heard the album?
I listened to the whole album as I was cleaning.
Man.
And when I was actually talking to you that morning, and when it cut on, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg's new album is
bananas.
And the way he's on there spitting is just crazy. It's really impressive. I'm thoroughly impressed. Shout out to Snoop Dogg and to the entire Death Row Records. Woo!
Dre.
And Dr. Dre is just
an animal, man.
So you know if Dre bring out Detox, what that's going to be like.
It's done.
If Dre bring out Detox, it's all over.
This album is just a banger from start to finish.
This album is impressive from start to finish.
Yeah.
Show.
So also second, we have Kraven the Hunter, which released in movie theaters this weekend.
I have not seen it.
Another Spider-Man anti-hero film, which, they don't do what they need to do because Spider-Man is not in it. But I did enjoy this one. Out of the other anti-hero films, I did think this one was okay. Wasn't expecting it to be great, but better than Morbius and Venom, for sure.
I didn't see that either.
Yeah, you can wait.
But, this is a DC house. So, I mean,
it is a DC house.
It's a thing.
And then last but not least, the Jordan 11 Legend Blues released yesterday.
Let me get a pair of those. I need a size 13.
Sure.
I need a size 13.
You might. I might have a connect for you. You got to pay a little extra, though.
All right. What's like a little extra, like $500?
No. I'll get you my connect.
The Blues Company with the connect is official right now.
I got them. But actually, I'm not wearing my Legend Blues yet because this weather is terrible. It's snow and mud is everywhere, so I'm not wearing mine. However, they did release. Sold out very quickly, too. So hopefully we can find his size 13.
I have a book today, Book of Krypton. Rodney, how you feeling over there? Okay. Rodney's feeling good. He's feeling good. He had the steakhouse experience. I know something so special.
The intros are so lit, bro.
I do like to write intros for our guests, and I like to expound on their talents and everything. So this is episode 12, and I read from the book of Krypton, chapter 12. Ladies and gentlemen, gather round as we embark on this journey, really this quest of greatness and glory and valor. Our guest today is a limited license social worker. She has lived in Lebanon for 8 years. I've never been there.
Never been
either. Before arriving to the United States in 2007. She works as behavioral health therapist, a job to help people fight through mental illness every day, and works closely with the Arabic community. As a refugee, she began attending school and faced many challenges. However, with hard work, support, and blessings, we all need those, she was able to achieve success in helping people who are facing mental health challenges, especially in the Arabic communities. As her quote so eloquently states, "I want to break the stigma regarding mental health. It is okay to seek help." We, the Resurgence, bring to you our first female guest. Eva's coming to the stage. Let's give her a round of applause. Let's go. And yes, I did write that myself. For those who are not believers. Hey, welcome. Let's get the Resurgence. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. All at the same time. I've been running around like a madman all day. You've seen some of that because you were here, ready. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
You feeling good?
Yeah. How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful. We're always on something.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant to do that too.
We're always on something. So I'm so looking forward to this because it's actually an honor and a privilege for you being our first female guest. And I've been looking forward to that because I feel like we need a different viewpoint. But coming soon, we are going to have a show, and it will be a battle. It will be the men and the women together. It's going to be like Avengers Endgame or something.
I'm excited for that one.
That's going to be. I'll shout out Avengers for that one because that was an amazing film. God, so like, how you feeling today? What brings you here? What we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about mental awareness. What we gonna talk about?
Yeah, mostly I want to talk about mental illness and how to break the stigma in our community. You know, I came from Middle Eastern countries that does not really believe in mental health until like currently they start having a lot of issues, and having to talk about mental health, it's like a really big thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a question already.
Yeah.
I want to jump in. Would you say that the current state of that is that due to maybe becoming more Americanized, or what do you think? Is that like something like if you come from over there and you move here, you start getting indoctrinated with certain American traditions? Do you think that's part of it, or?
No, that's not part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's more like people start understanding that there is something called mental health. Like there is something called like I need to go talk with someone, you know, and probably this is what is leading them to start thinking about it in a more, not only let's go do therapy, but let's go really talk with someone about our feelings, what we had faced in the past. How can we recover from what we did, what happened with us?
Okay.
You know?
And that's something that historically has not been present in the Arabic community?
Right now it's getting more better. Before it was no. Before it was, there is nothing called mental health. I feel let me start it this way. You know, there's a lot of obstacles that our community had dealt with in the past. And in the past, what they were thinking about mental health is it's a lack of weakness. It's a lack of faith. It's a shame. It's embarrassment.
Okay.
And them not knowing, and they're not aware that there is something called behavioral health therapists that could help them with any mental health or any kind of diagnosis that they're dealing with, that they can go talk with somebody about that. And I feel like it's going to be more effectively to our providers, like me or as any other therapist, to understand our culture, is that they need to really understand the stigma. They need to understand the culture. They need to understand the traditions that we have for them to provide a good therapy for our population.
Okay. That's deep, because I would say, like, even in our community, mental health is something that is talked about, sometimes not really addressed at all. Or in the past times, it was just only addressed through the church. Like, you had to go, or you're not praying enough, you're not being in church enough. So, but to go talk to an actual professional, was kind of shunned upon.
Yeah.
But now it's getting more
open.
Yeah, because I think you notice that things are just a lot worse now. It's almost unavoidable. Like the need for behavioral health is so important because it's literally right in your face now. Just for, transparency, I would say I'm probably the rookie in this field because I did not go to school for this. I went to school for mass media and communication, but for the last 16 years, my whole career has been education, therapy, social work. And so, like, everything that you guys are saying, I've absolutely seen it from my firsthand. And it's like the importance is just beyond measure. Like, you absolutely have to talk to somebody. Right. You have to do self-care because, yes, you will lash out in various ways. Sorry, go ahead.
I was cooking right then.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Because I'll talk about my personal life. When I first came in 2007, it was very difficult, was very challenging, language barrier, not having people out there to help us, like to know exactly how I'm going to come and build a new life. Like I came to a culture that I have no idea what is going on, traditions that I never followed, or going to school, not knowing the language. It was a barrier by itself.
And that's happening a lot right now.
Yep.
I've seen some of that's like, because it would be sitting around people, you don't know what they're saying. So you would kind of feel alienated. And it creates an island effect where you might feel alone on the island. So that's deep.
And learning and expand. I mean, I feel like all the challenges that I have dealt with, it got me where I am right now. And I don't want people who came in and who are still coming in or who had faced all the challenges that I have faced with no help. And that's what led me that I want to become a therapist and wants to help our community to understand it more. Like it's okay to go ask for a help. It's not a shame. It's not an embarrassment.
Let's talk about that. Not to cut you off.
Go ahead, bro.
What was that like for you, your childhood? And then, if you could tell us, like, what was that like, your childhood growing up? And then what difference did you see when you came here? And how old were you when you came here?
Chaldean population, I'll talk a little bit about their past, it's ongoing discrimination, harassment, attack, war. We faced we had to escape from a country to another country. And that's a big challenge, circumstances that we had to deal with, especially when I was only 3 months when I had to escape from Iraq to Lebanon. And there where I was raised. And I stayed in Lebanon. I studied there. I went to Catholic school in Lebanon. And after 8 years being illegal in Lebanon, and they were not accepting us to go to any other country because we are illegal in Lebanon. But finally, United Nations had came in and said, it's time to take some refugees out from Lebanon and go out to Australia, United States, and Greece. It was another one that a lot of our people start escaping to those countries for safety. So when I first came in here, I was in September of 2007. I was 11 years old.
Wow.
I started middle school right away. And it was very, very challenging. Like sitting in a class, not knowing what everybody's talking about, and you have to sit and like just look like what is really happening.
Right.
And we never were taught English language, mostly French. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
It was Arabic and French. And when I came in, I was reading when the teacher used to give me a book to read. I was reading in French and everybody started laughing. So you had to deal with bullying in a school. And the good thing, I had Arabic teachers that speak my language. They were trying to help me, and I started getting ESL classes. At the same time, like no matter how bad you feel in school, but you go back home, you cannot say it to your parents because they really won't understand what you're dealing with. They will make you feel what?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
We deal with a lot. Like you can deal with this. You can face it. It's not a big deal. Like you cannot go by your mom who is working all day long to afford living for us.
Oh yeah. She said,
and then you come and be like, I was bullied in school.
They're like,
what are you talking about? Especially if your mom doesn't really know English, how is she gonna go defend you in school?
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I had to face this. I had to face my own challenges. I had to face the people who were bullying me. students, the teachers, everybody, you know, like, and then I started growing up, and due to all these challenges that I had faced, I become where I want to say, it's okay if in that time I would have said, yes, I was bullied. Let me go talk with somebody. I am stressed out because I've been going through all these challenges. And then in that time, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I want to help those people.
Yeah.
And then I started from there.
Because the thing that I'm hearing, and this is what I was going to ask, was, and I guess I would give this to people that might be in the same situation. What would you say for the day-to-day process of that? So when, like you said, when you first got to America, you realized you didn't know the language. This is the scenario. So now, and it's a weird thing, but I kind of do this. I base it off of like a time increment. So I feel like every second that you are in a situation like that, that's stressful, anxiety driven, it's like it does something. So what would you say to advise them? Like, what would you say to get them through those time increments of that stress? Like, what did you, or I guess now that you made it through, what advice would you give?
I'll tell them, like, with time, everything is going to be fixed. The time can heal, can teach you stuff, can make you be a stronger person that you'll never realize. The support probably from family, from close people, from friends, from church. I feel all these could help you become a stronger person. And especially, like, I always tell the people that I have always served, I'm not here to change your life. You have to change it yourself to become whoever you want to be. Because other than that, I can sit and talk all day long about what you can do. And you go do it, but you really does not change anything in your life if you really did not want to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you gotta have the want to change from within too, you know. But I think therapy is good because, I mean, you can go to your friends, depending. Sometimes you have a really good person you can talk to, but everybody don't have that. You know what I'm saying? And so some people are just listening just for gossip, or as they call it, tea. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, but somebody that's gonna sit there and listen and try to work through it with you. That's why going to talk to somebody, I think, is hugely important, especially when you're dealing with children. Children experience a lot of trauma, and then your story coming from a different country. Because now you were born in Iraq, and then went to Lebanon, and then came here.
Yep.
So those are,
Actually, escaping from one country to another, it was like you start in Iraq, you go to Syria illegally, and then from Syria, we went to Jordan. We stayed there almost 7 years also.
Okay.
And then from Jordan, we escaped to Lebanon for more safety, because in Jordan, this is what actually my family had told me. I don't know if it's true, but if you were not born in Jordan, you cannot seek school through them.
Wow.
So we had to go to Lebanon to educate ourselves.
See, that's a different thing. We use the term moving, but escaping to another country, that's another level altogether.
Yeah, it's not like I'm just packing up a U-Haul.
It's like leave that there. Let's go. And
I say escaping instead of moving, because we're really escaping to save our life.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's what we were saying. That's
I'm not moving because you want to move. You know, like, I'm going to move to California next month.
Yeah, it's totally different.
It's totally different. It's like you're escaping from those countries, Middle Eastern countries, because you want to come here for education. You want to come here for safety. You want to come here to grow yourself. In there, I cannot tell you that there is no growing. There is, but when you're illegal, it's very hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I haven't, so to get into that too, and I really want to be careful as I ask this question, but it's just like the extremities in that scenario that you just described, that approach to people that are not from here, so we can't educate them. And then we have to basically force these people to escape. And do you feel like, and I guess that's kind of a question as to the source of that mental health that we need to discuss, not just for the people that experienced it, but for the ones who create these laws and enforce them so rigorously. Like, that to me is so extreme. Somebody coming to your country from another, it's like, what are we doing here? Why are we going so hard in the paint over this? And that's the part that I think is the issue. Like, why, or I guess you can't really answer that. But do you feel there's that connection between that extremity and the mental health stigmas in your culture?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because back home, you cannot, because they face so many challenges, by them, mental health is not a problem. It's not a challenge.
Because there's so much other stuff.
There's so much other stuff
going on, right?
If my friend come and be like, if I go tell a friend, I'm depressed, and a friend who born and raised in Iraq and faced all this war and faced all the discrimination and attackment, all this stuff, they'll be like, why are you depressed? We had faced so many other stuff in the past.
Right.
You know, like, it doesn't only make you feel down, but it makes you think, like, am I really depressed because what I'm dealing with is what I'm dealing with something easy compared to what they dealt with in the past, you know?
It's like a repressed hopelessness, because you feel hopeless because you can't say what you genuinely feel and it be understood. So you have to repress that. And then you start to wonder, does it measure up to the other things? But it does. It does. Anything that absolutely affects you that way, it affects you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the most extreme case for you to be understood. And to go into what you said too, like, that was how I was brought up, for full transparency. My mother was basically like, okay, I know you sad, I know you crying, but the show must go on. You know, you gotta go to school and you gotta do this and this. And it's just like, yeah, all that's cool. And you go through life just, okay, the show must go on. But when you finally take that rest stop and you really just stop moving, all of that emotion hits you all at once and you just start bawling uncontrollably because you stored all this stuff in for years. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, why just the whole importance of mental health is there, man. Like, you absolutely have to stop minimizing things just because it's not the most extreme case. Everybody needs some help.
True.
Yeah.
True. Wow. That's deep. And I think because I'm always kind of mirroring back and forth. So I think in our culture, because we're connected to Africa, but disconnected, it's not like we could just go over there like, all right, because it's such a, we be able to be like, man, where's the,
which tribe are you? What's
going on? So I think it's a disconnect, but our trauma stemming from slavery, that still has not been fully addressed. You know what I'm saying? And just trying to kind of, you can see the things that result from slavery to today and how, like, nothing has been done about that. So it's actually very deep to go into, like, talking to somebody and having an outlet. Because I think everybody wants outlet. Everybody wants somebody to listen.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's just the nature of being human. So many questions just came in. And that's why I was so really tinkering with the last one. You saw me multitasking. I was like, too much happening at one time. Question 1, coming all the way from the West Coast. This is for you. In your opinion, has technology improved or harmed people's mental health? Example, kids going into panic over losing cell phones, everyone paranoid watching their cameras / positive television health. Social media.
Social media with children, yes.
Okay.
Big time. Do see it with my younger cousins. They don't sit with family anymore.
Everybody's on the phone.
Everybody's on the phone. Everybody wants to see what other people are doing. That's affecting them mentally. They're affecting their ability to learn new things. I think mental health with children, it's a big, big part, because if they're not sitting with their family, communicating, chatting with their friends and cousins, and they're sitting on the phone while in the gathering, then
there's no connection.
There's no connection to them. When they go to school or what they want to do, it's stay on their phone, not focus on what the teacher is saying. So how are they going to learn?
Well, I just read an article about that where it says the more technology they make for us to be connected, the further we are away from each other, because you're not engaging with the person. Because you'll be out to dinner and you'll see people sitting there eating and they're both. I'm like, you could have saved that $100. You see that? I hate seeing that. Like you see somebody on a date and they're sitting there both on their phone. I'm like, y'all could be at the crib. This dinner, I know this dinner costs $100.
And I'll add to that too. I'll just be fully transparent. I was one of those people, and I realized that my phone was a social crutch. It was allowing me to deal with my anxiety and things and be comfortable in the moment. But I got all my friends like, bruh. And then it took years for me to kind of just get in and say, all right, I'm in the moment, phone down, what's going on? And I think that's the part of it is people are just, I don't know. I'll be getting on here just giving all my business away, but I just think that a lot of it's a social crutch.
It's a social, yeah.
And then when you see the part where other people's lives come into play, then that adds another level of anxiety because it's a highlight reel of our best moments.
Ice-T just said that yesterday.
Yeah,
that's what I just said that.
Yeah, and so you sitting there watching this everybody's best moments. Oh well, my life isn't like that, so now I'm down again. Yeah,
and this is the thing: the children will start comparing themselves to others, that they have more, that their family can afford more for them, and then when they see that they cannot do what other children are doing, they become very low self-esteem to themselves. Yeah. They become close to themselves, like they escalate themselves from others because they want to become better, but they're not knowing how because they don't have the equipments like how other kids have. And that what makes it more difficult to them when they grow up. They will feel that they're always less than what other had expecting them.
We call that culturally keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, that's what we call that, trying to like matching. I mean, because social media is a highlight reel. It's just, okay, it's the best moment. It's the best party. It's the best picture. Now people got filters on their pictures. Most pictures have filters on them now.
Too much filter.
So it's never like Ice-T. Shout out to Ice-T. He just said, do y'all ever go to work? What's your regular work day? Like, why is everything you on a yacht or on a jet ski?
On Twitch, laptop gaming all day long? Like, you do something else.
You do something else other than that.
Yeah.
Well, when's the last time you've been back overseas, back home, to your original home?
I haven't for the past 15 years.
15? Really? That's a long time. I always find that interesting because I have some friends that have a local store here. They're from Yemen, though. They go back and forth. And I always wondered what that would be like for us. Like, let's go over to Africa right quick. Just that we could go back and forth. I'd love to go, but I'd love to go, but
I mean, right now you cannot even go to Lebanon because it's all war.
Yeah, that might not be a good time.
You cannot go back to Iraq because it's still, there's a couple of areas that's still in the war. Mm-hmm. But they're building it. They're doing a lot of good stuff back in Iraq. I haven't lived in Iraq, so it will be my dream to go.
Really?
One day.
What? I want to know what it's like over in Dubai. See, if that's like the highlight. Yeah, of course. People in Dubai have the time of their life.
I've heard things though. What I've heard Dubai is just basically like social media in real time.
In real time.
I heard it's very pretentious over there.
Really?
Extremely, yes.
I know your money got to be right over there. Yeah. And I'm talking about more than $1,000.
$1,000 is like $50 in Dubai.
That's right. It ain't gonna do it.
But I heard it's just like it's that very pretentious thing going on over there. Well, I wanted to go at first till I saw that. I was like, you know what? Nah,
be over there having to tell you your money when you come back here. I ain't paid not a light bill.
There's some people that are doing that, but then again, that goes back into mental health. You basically will cash out to go to Dubai. Your lights aren't on, your bills aren't paid, but you're trying to fit into this social.
And you're in that little glass boat. What is that glass boat everybody's laying on? What is that? Have you seen that, Rodney? It's a glass boat,
like a whole complete glass.
It's like a canoe.
You know, like the bottom of the thing.
Everybody has the same picture. I'm like, are they giving these away? Oh, what's going on? But wow.
So here's a question: when you got here as a kid, what were the things that kind of took you out of that mode? When you found yourself being depressed, like what were things you did to just kind of help yourself move along?
I think it was just I had to go with the flow. You know, like every day was a new challenge. Every day I had to learn something new, and with all of these, like meeting people, knowing more about the culture, knowing more about how America lives, like life is. I have not changed my traditions because my family are very strict. And until now, they're very strict. And I like that about my family. Like, it's not something I will give it up one day. I love our traditions. I love what I had came up to. But learning a new culture and how they manage the stuff and what to do to go with their flow, it was challenging. But at the same time, I had learned a lot on how can I cope with both of them.
Yeah. Do you think because, and this is interesting, in America, you have so many different cultures, like it depends on which kind of America you're talking about. So have you like been able to see, well, I know you have, but like, okay, this culture does it this way, this culture feels like this. And I think you gotta come off social media. You gotta really sit with the culture to see what they really feel. Sure. You're not gonna get it on here.
Yeah.
This is like a watered down, who we feel kind of, no, if you sit with the people, they will tell you how they feel.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. What is the obstacles in getting mental health support to families and communities that's needed? What do you think is needed to really get that to the families? Well, what obstacles are preventing that?
Just like how I said, if we're talking about the Chaldean population, the obstacles are they feel mental health is a weakness to them. They feel it's lack of faith. They feel it's a shame. And for them to seek it, it's like so hard. I have talked with a lot of families before who have their kids that are really need mental health, but they will be like, no, we're not going to do anything with mental health. We don't want to talk with the therapist.
Wow.
The biggest challenge is in our community is if you know I have a mental health and you go say it to other Chaldean family, it's like word after word, after word, and it comes where people gossip about one another.
True.
To make it something small, a big deal. Like, oh, this family have somebody who has mental health. Don't go get close to them. Maybe you'll be one of them.
Oh, wow.
This family have a daughter who is mentally ill. I'm not going to let my son marry their daughter because I'm worried about my kids having mental health issues. So it's more as a shame. Like, that's why people don't go talk about it. That's why our people will never want to seek mental health treatment if they really don't understand the out of it. It's difficult. Very difficult.
Yeah, because under that type of, if that kind of setup is going to be, it almost seems like change would be impossible. So in a lot of ways, you are a pioneer because you are doing your best to break from that and really just kind of show them these years of tradition are fine, but there's this underlying problem that we're not addressing and it's showing. And the more that we continue to suppress it, the more it's going to show and be prevalent. So I had to give you props now because you are really a pioneer to do something like that. But
I'm trying.
You're doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. No, this is, and again, that's what I said. Like when I heard you mention that, the first thing that hit me was that's the same thing in African American culture. We don't ever talk about our problems. So like me and him, we've known each other well because we're not gonna get into that.
I'm 30. I'm only 30. He's much older than me.
But we somehow somehow met in high school though. But that's another story entirely. But the thing is, like, I think for me and him, we've known each other so long that it's like there's nothing but transparency. We can have a debate on things, we can agree on things, but it's just like we know each other. Mm. So I could come in and be like, "No, I'm straight." He'll sit there and look for about 3 seconds, like, "No, you're not, man. What's going on?" And we can't lie to each other. Like, okay, well, this is what's happening.
So the good thing that you brought this in. It just happened a couple of weeks ago when I was sitting with my friend and I asked her, I was like, "What's wrong? Like, what's going on?" And she was like, "Nothing. I'm okay." I was like, "No, there is something going on, Mm. And then as soon as I brought up, like, I'm a therapist, you can tell me what. Like, I don't want to act with my friend as a therapist sometimes, but sometimes you have to. And I was like to her, just talk to me. But if you really don't want to talk to me because you feel that I will judge you, because a lot of Chaldean people think if you go talk with a family, they will judge you. It's like, I'm not a kind of person who will judge what had happened with you or what made you to get to that point of sadness. But if you want to go talk with someone, you can. I'm not crazy to go talk with a therapist. I'm like, this is the first thing my friends will tell me. As soon as I'll be like, I'm not crazy to go talk with a therapist. I just need time to be alone. I was like, great, take it. This is most of the people that I have met. When I tell them, why don't you go talk with a therapist? They'll be like, why do I need to talk with a therapist?
Wow.
Second question, like they will answer me in a question. Why do I need to go talk with a therapist? Why do you think you need to go talk with a therapist if you're really not feeling okay?
Right.
You know, like I'm telling you, go talk with a therapist because I can tell that you need to go talk with someone.
They made us at Wayne State before you could get your master's. Shout out to Wayne State. You had to go meet with a therapist 3 times. So, when you're at the end of your program, you're like, I don't care. Let me just get this diploma. Leave me alone. I owe you guys gobs of money. It's like the Louis Vuitton store where you get them. I owe them so much money. And so they made us go to a therapist. And what I found interesting in that was I first walked in there. Shout out. I see y'all. I hear y'all. I was sitting there and I was like, I got to do this so I can graduate. So she said, okay. So she just like, well, tell me about yourself. So I told her. And she's like, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just here so I can graduate. So she started talking to me. I was like, so let me get this straight. I can tell you anything and you can't tell nobody. She's like, as long as you're not harming yourself or others. I'm like, oh. I was like, I'm going to hear like Tony Soprano. She started hollering and laughing. Because that's why I also love Soprano, because Tony was in therapy. Which is kind of what made that show so amazing. Besides the enormous, amazing acting they had going on. I think that one thing at Wayne State, when they made us go to that, talking to a therapist is a person who can make you see something that was like right in front of you. Yeah. But you have not paid any attention to. You're like, wow. So sometimes that third person will say it. That's been right in front of me the whole time. I never even thought about it that way. So
there's a lot of subtle clues as to why people do certain things. And that was the thing that got me through working in this field for this long with no college education or degree, is that for every what, there's a why. And you start to kind of look, and I would just be honest, working this job has made me internalize so many things that I started to realize, like, yeah, okay, this is why I do this. This is why I do this. And the thing that I think we need to, and I wanted to bring this up at the PD the other day, is that what people need to understand, or at least try to help develop for their communities, for their schools, their cultures, is a safe space, period. Once you have a safe space to be you, that's it. So again, me and this dude literally clown all day long when we had an opportunity. And it is like absolutely just like no judgment, because it's like, dude, yeah. But that's what I think has been the essential core of my friendship, is the safe space. He could come to me and tell me the craziest thing. I could come to him and tell him the craziest thing and not feel any like shame about it. And that's what just happened like 3 days ago. There's been a lot of crazy conversations going on. It was like 3 days ago, because it's 3 days, then it was 4 days before 7 years. But it absolutely is necessary. And I've been trying to really bring that into education. If you see, like, an 8th grader can see a kid in 4th grade and he's crying, you should not be afraid to go to that kid and ask him what's wrong, and he shouldn't be afraid to tell you, because he's afraid you're going to bully him with your friends later. It's like you establish that safe space for that kid. He's going to love to come to school. That's a whole other topic entirely, because they treat each other horribly in school, but I won't get on that because we'll be here for another 6 hours. But it's just essential, man. Like, I really have to say, you are absolutely a pioneer. And I want to just say that. You are a pioneer for doing what you're doing, because so many people don't get that. And, I hope your friend eventually broke down and told you what was going on. But, yeah, they need that.
what do you think about the opposite coin of this? For those, I'm still reading questions from the West Coast. Shout out to everybody in Vegas. I love you. We are coming back to Las Vegas. Get ready. What do you think about this when people say the word trauma is overused? Everybody has trauma. We're using it too much. What would you say about that? Good question.
True. Yeah.
Okay.
We use, I've been traumatized. I did a car accident. I've been traumatized. I'm not driving it. Like simple things.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
But when you come to really use the word trauma, tell me about people dying because of the war.
That's serious trauma.
Right, you know? Women's being kidnapped, kids being kidnapped. So those kids, I can tell that they've been trauma.
Right.
Those kids who've been sexually assaulted, you know, when they come to another country.
Wow.
Do you think they will really think about how I'm going to start a new life with all the trauma that they had dealt with in the past?
So it's really like levels of trauma. Everyone, I believe, has experienced trauma, but you have different levels of the trauma. Obviously, having to flee a country is a different type of trauma. And one thing about, I always say, one thing about America is that we're not used to, like, you're sitting there at a restaurant and then boom. I mean, that would throw this whole thing into a loop.
Yeah.
America got a lot of guns, but I don't know if America's ready for war on land.
No, they're not.
That is a whole nother level. It's like watching it on TV versus hearing real gunfire. It's a whole, that's like I would take people to the gun range. No, it's going to be loud. It's not going to be like on television. Yeah. Shooting a gun in real life is nothing like it is on television.
Yeah. So I do really think my family, because maybe if it wasn't them thinking about us escaping, or a lot of Chaldeans' family, they all thought about escaping, you know? And maybe if they don't escape, maybe if they did not do this step, maybe we were all going to be somewhere, somehow dead because of the war that had happened in the past. It was horrible. And until now, like if I still lived in Lebanon, I never knew this was going to happen, you know? And right now, Lebanon, it's in a very bad situation where every day there is a bomb somewhere. You know, school, hospitals.
So you have PTSD.
Yeah.
Just from that. Being shell-shocked, not knowing what's coming or what's about to really happen.
Yeah.
And even like coming to the United States, building a new life. It's trauma. It's trauma to deal, like, just like how you said, it's levels of trauma.
Right.
But if you want to talk about the bad trauma, is that thinking about all these children that came in, escaping from one country to another for their safety and rebuilding all this life all over again.
Right. Right. And speaking of children and young people, why do you think so many young people have depression and mental illness?
I believe it's because their life circumstances. You know, each one think about depression in a different way. You might be depressed because you had a bad friend. You might be depressed because in a school you're not doing great, you know. You might be depressed because of a relationship. So depression, it's different steps, you know. Children having depression, I feel it's more like you're going into their children is going into something, they're not knowing what it is. They want to build a life, but they don't know how to start. And
the kids, right?
They're seeing their friends, how they are. And I think economic, plays a big part.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. Money doesn't solve everything. It solves a lot of things.
It
solves a lot.
But I think that's the mental, it requires a lot of discipline for that type of solution. So with what you just said too, a few key points I hit was the first one where everybody's been traumatized. So where there's people that use they say they've been traumatized for attention purposes versus actually having a severe case of trauma. So then when you mentioned that, I started to kind of think back to what you were saying about coming home saying I was bullied, and your mother's like, well, I've been doing this and this. Do you feel like even the minor attention seeking trauma sufferers, they deserve some kind of consideration possibly, or like, what would you say for those types of people? Like to maybe get out of the need for attention what would you, I guess, prescribe for that maybe? If that question makes sense.
When it's a child or a minor, 12 years old, going to their families, telling them that I've been bullied in school, and their family have no idea what's the word bullying mean.
Right. Okay.
You know, I'm not going to say this trauma, but I feel it's like more understanding, like how I'm going to understand my child if he comes in and I don't know English and I've been working all day.
Right.
Trying to afford a good living for them. It's not attention seeking from my child. It's just like they want to come and literally tell me that they're not feeling good. I don't feel it's attention seeking. Any kids, when they want to do something, they do it. If they want to do something for their family to know, is they're doing because they're really feeling sad. They're really feeling, I really want someone to listen to me. If it was a mom or a father or a sister or a brother. You know?
So we have another question from the West Coast. That's a great question, by the way. Now, this is not a good question because I wasn't here for any of this. But in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah. But you was here for the 90s?
Nah. I mean, I was a baby. In 95, when I got here, I was a baby.
Maybe 96.
Yeah.
When I graduated in high school.
I was like born around that time, bro.
Right.
Way before.
Yeah.
Way before.
Yeah.
Made them. In the 70s, 80s, and 90s, people were raised to be mentally tough, but emotionally distant. The new generation is more emotionally aware, but mentally weaker. How can we find a happy medium, or is there a happy medium? That's a hard question. You know
That's a hard question.
It's a hard question.
And it's a very deep question, actually.
It is.
How can you find happy medium?
Right, but everybody's like, oh, I'm bullied. Besides, like, okay, come on, man, get it together. Especially being a male, so being a man, especially in the Black community, nobody want to hear you complain. You got to say, toughen up, figure it out.
The same thing with Chaldean men.
So the thing about the cultures, they mirror each other very close. Look at the area we are in.
That's what I was going to say. We're literally.
We're all in the same area. So our cultures are not that different. So for men, it would be like, hey, nobody want to hear you. Nobody want to see no man crying or hear you complaining. Figure it out. So is there a happy medium between being, mentally weaker or more emotionally aware?
There is a happy medium.
Okay.
There is. If they look into what they're really feeling and they come up with their own solutions, their own changes of life, yes, they will make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, me, like I made myself happy. I made myself where I am right now,
Yeah.
I made myself educated. I made myself aware from mental health. I made the people think about, what do you really think when you're sad? Say it. I'm sad. Like, it's not to be ashamed if you're happy, sad. Enjoy it. Just go with what you're really feeling, so you can have a happy medium.
And speaking about how you've succeeded serving the community, going into that can be really mentally draining. What keeps you motivated?
Seeing my population happy.
Okay.
Like I said, that'll work. I think it was something you said. Oh, so we get into the not enough faith question, because one of the things that, and I've heard people say this too, that a lot of mental health issue is spiritual. And in a lot of cases, I believe it could be, because that's a whole other topic that people probably aren't ready for. But do you think too that a lot of that staunch faith that he mentioned too with Black culture, same thing, you're just not going to church enough and you're not, and it's like, no, because when you really look at it from a spiritual standpoint, we've never seen this much ADHD or OCD or anxiety or this or that. And because it's just been, just swept under the rug, or if your kid is acting up, we just whip them with a belt, yell at them, go sit in the corner. But you're not really addressing the actual issue. And maybe back then it wasn't really diagnosed the way it is now. But do you think that the I don't want to say religious, but we'll say the spiritual elements in cultures hinders the need for mental health too? Do you think it kind of gets in the way of it?
Spiritual? No.
Okay.
No. In our culture, I feel like right now our priests, our churches, they're all talking about mental health. They all want people to go seek mental health, which is amazing.
Okay.
And like, I will say this, as long as you're living under the sky, you're going to face challenges. You know?
So you're Catholic like me.
I'm Catholic.
We're both old school. She's on.
As opposed to the 3-hour churches.
And what do you do? What strategies do you use to keep up with your own mental health?
I enjoy a lot of time with my family and friends. And most important thing is my workout.
So you work out too?
I do.
So you're an athlete. You know, we have so much in common. I'm also an athlete. And it's so funny because these last couple of shows, it's just a certain monster. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing.
I'm actually working out today. Actually.
I mean,
Thursday.
I don't know because I didn't see you Friday. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't.
Did you need to see me work out? Though?
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
don't need to watch it. It's like an attendance thing or something.
I'm not saying it's an attendance, but I'm saying we're athletes. You know, I don't feel left out.
I don't. Believe me.
No,
I don't.
Okay. Like, how often do you work out?
I work out 6 days a week.
Nice.
We got a lot in common.
Nice.
We got a lot in common. Yeah, see, that's the level of dedication you gotta have to do it.
Well, I mean, I do like 5. You know what I'm saying? 5 is not 6.
That's all not 6. Well, I think it's 5, 6.
It's more than 3.
I think it's not.
It's more than 3.
I think it's close. I mean, but
you could be an athlete and work out 5 days a week.
Yeah, I'm just saying. In your work with the Arabic community, what obstacles are they facing, and how can other communities and cultures help? And can other
That's
cultures?
a really good question.
Good question.
West Coast, come on, Las Vegas.
What they can help with mental health?
Mhm.
Maybe like talk more about how mental health can help them,
Okay.
can change them. You know, I'm not gonna say all Chaldean need mental health. You
Right.
know, like not a lot of not everybody needs mental health.
Mhm.
Not everybody needs a therapist, but everybody needs that one person that could listen to them.
True.
Maybe it's not a therapist, but maybe it's a friend. You know.
Safe space.
Mhm.
Yeah. What obstacle I have faced with our community is breaking that stigma of mental health.
The stigma, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Just like something, if you talk to someone, something's wrong with you or you're not normal, but really you are normal because everybody has trauma. And everybody has experienced something difficult in their life that they should talk to a therapist or somebody about it.
Which is, I'm seeing a lot of Chaldean now are like, they're aware that there is people who speak their language and they can go do therapy in their language, in Arabic or Chaldean, you know? And there is communities out there that will help them, you know? Like, we do have good communities in Sterling Heights that could help our Chaldeans seek mental health treatment. And I'm happy that a lot of our people, like a lot of people in my age, they're studying a psychology or social work or psychiatrist to help our people.
Right.
You know, this is a good thing.
And especially right now in this season, we're coming close to our Christmas episode. Get ready for that. And we're going into a new year. This year went by fast.
Yeah.
Did you realize how fast this year went by? What's one issue, if I can pick one thing, what's one issue in mental health that you would like to see addressed in 2025?
People seeking more treatment if they need it.
Oh.
Like, don't be ashamed.
Right.
You know, don't be ashamed of going and saying I'm depressed or I'm anxious or, you know, I had dealt with trauma in my past.
Okay.
I think if people focused on that in the home, you can go to your mom. If you're a man, you can go to your wife. Wife, you can go to your husband. Like, we could, not to ruin your industry at all, but it's just like if people sought help where they could find it, where they really should be able to have it, there wouldn't really be a need. If I could go to my wife or my mother to talk and get all my issues out, that's free therapy right there. I don't need to go, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's...
And if you had to pay, I mean, you guys pay me through Cash App, but I listen to it.
Cash App, though, because I use PayPal and it's free. But now, if you want to talk about charging people, I mean, we charge you for...
I mean, you know, why not pay me? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't I need monies?
I mean, I don't have I got PayPal, though. I don't use Cash App. So
my brother doesn't use Cash App, which why I don't know, because that's okay. You use Cash App?
I don't use Cash App.
we got something in common.
But
But yeah, we got to get, because...
listen, I don't know what's going on, but what I do know is, what do you do for fun? What do you do for fun? Kick back.
Besides working out.
Enjoying out with my friends. Yeah.
Now, where y'all be hanging out?
Sterling Heights.
Sterling Heights.
Sterling Heights. All the Chaldeans are.
In Dearborn? Marlon, let me somebody knows Marlon.
That's spot on Van Dyke.
Oh, when my birthday dinner was?
What part of what's that?
That was Ali's. You better
That's fire.
Please. I had like 35 people at a table. It was crazy for the birthday. And so my favorite meal is the deboned chicken with the rice and the vegetables. Yeah, that's a thing. That's one of my personal favorites. If I could pick one, you know what I'm saying? But Ali's is a time. So are there clubs in Sterling Heights?
Yeah,
I'm not familiar. Is there a club? I haven't been to a club in Sterling Heights, I don't think.
Well, I mean, are you talking like you want to, like, if you go into a Chaldean type club? I don't know about those clubs. There's one called Babylon, I believe, that's not John R. It is Ryan, I think.
I want to party. We're going to Sterling Heights next. I don't know. So where y'all hang out in, like, what is that, restaurants? Or
there's a lot of restaurants.
But there's no clubs.
I don't think there's. I haven't never been to a club before.
Not either. We have so much in common. Because I don't club a lot. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not cleaning that up. I promise you I'm not cleaning it up. I am not cleaning it up. Don't do it. Don't do it.
We have certain things on the show, certain weapons. That's yours if you need it. Because people be saying wild things about.
They do say wild things.
I don't really club like that. You know, it's a thing. I don't really club. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in from Wilberforce University. That's tuned in from Wilberforce. I would like to thank y'all for tuning in. We have so many wonderful questions that came in from the West Coast. Mental health is real. I recommend.
I'm definitely not cleaning that up.
I recommend that.
I'm not cleaning it up.
Mental health is real. And I think that everybody should talk to somebody. And I support that message. You got a lot. See how you just throwing money? Look, see how you live it? He's throwing a lot of money around. That's a whole lot.
I'm not cleaning it up, though. Yes, and I just want to say, too, we might have to, at some point, probably have you back on for a part 2.
Would you like to come back for part 2?
Yeah, this was...
for sure.
We understand the time frame and everything, but we absolutely greatly appreciate you coming by. Thank you very much for showing up and being on this show. We appreciate it.
Have you? So my brother here, and I'm so glad he brought you by. Like, has he ever told you about my other job? I have like 2 other jobs. He didn't tell you?
No.
Okay, so 1, I'm also a barber. Yes. And 2, I work for the Michigan Livestock Association where I wrangle and rustle cattle.
Okay.
So my barbering is a passion of mine. And I've been trying to tell my brother, because he knows, I don't know why he's acting like this. He knows I cut hair.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I do. You know, when I need a mental break, I cut hair or I wrangle cattle. Like, you know, like when you out, and I don't know if you're familiar, like, have you ever been to like a farm? No? You should come by. So I work about 40 minutes up north. And what I do is I rope cattle and I wrangle. Like most people are like sleep at like 5 a.m. I'm at work at that point. I'm already out there in the field, wrangling cattle, cows, all types of stuff. He knows this. And it's just a passion of mine. I do that kind of, it helps you.
You enjoy it?
I do enjoy it because, you know, you get to be with the animals and spend time. I don't know why Rodney, I don't know they're making faces. So they know that I'm a real life cowboy. I don't know. When you first came, didn't we discuss bull riding? And you said that was okay. So she knows.
She knows about bull riding. You've heard of a bull riding place 40 minutes up north? No, I haven't either. Well, the question though that I would ask is that there's a show that comes on Paramount Network called Yellowstone. Have you ever heard of this show? Surprisingly, because it is actually about cattle rustling. It is a show about cattle rustling. But it's a very interesting show. What season are they on? Do you know? Have you heard?
I've never seen it.
I believe it's on their 9th season or 5th season. 5th season.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Yellowstone? Interesting.
I've never seen it.
Cattle wrestling. Yeah.
It looked like your beard that grew in a little bit, bro.
It did, and I trimmed it this morning before I did.
But I
feel like it's fine, bro. I do.
No,
and I made sure I trimmed it too, just for this reason, to make sure.
You know, I lined myself up.
Me too. I lined myself up.
But I ain't never. But you know, So like you know how like okay, like you're a therapist, you're an athlete. I'm also an athlete and a therapist. You know how like you can like help somebody else. So that's how I wanted to help my brother get his line crispier. That's what we call it in our community when you got the crispy haircut line.
So you insulting my barber? Then, what you?
No.
What you trying to say that my barber can't cut hair? Is that what
I would never.
He's probably watching right now.
I would never say you have an amazing
barber.
barber.
It's like you saying that this man is not.
But I'm also a barber.
That's great. And
I was gonna line up. We want to thank you so much for coming out and breaking bread with us and bringing mental awareness to the Resurgence Show. We would love to have you back on. We are doing I guess it's called the Battle of the Sexes. I don't know. Feel free to join that show. It's going to be the men and women. It's going to be a huge debate. Huge. See my hand? Huge. Oh my God. Huge debate. So feel free. We would love to have you back, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
And also for those that are seeking your counsel or wanting to know where to find you, where do they go?
Well, I'm currently working at Access. It's called Arabic Community Council and Economic Social Services. I'm a behavioral health coordinator in there, and I'm going to start seeing patients hopefully soon.
Okay. Awesome. Yep. And what is your full
name? They can go to Macomb Community Mental Health and ask for Access.
And what is your first and last name so they'll know?
My first name is Eva, and my last name is Malene.
Malene. There we go. Okay. I didn't want to mispronounce it. Malene. I love it. Malene. Awesome. You see how much money we're throwing around on this show? I'm throwing around. This has been Resurgence, episode 12.
Nice.
Tune in for episode 13. Then tune in for our Christmas episode where I will sing In My Mind. I want to be free. Nobody's getting any gifts until I hear it on the radio. Radio, y'all heard me? No one's getting gifts. Oh my God.
What if you sing?